Hey guys, and welcome to this edition of Scruff's Garage. So as you may have seen in a previous video, I just got a brand new 2020 Jeep Gladiator. So my initial goal is to keep the interior from getting destroyed in the coming years. I plan to keep this vehicle for a long time, and I'd like the interior to look nice as long as I possibly can. So by nature, Jeeps typically suffer a little bit more abuse. This would be my daily driver, so be in and out of it quite a bit. Obviously, if you take yours off-road, getting in with muddy boots, sandy feet if you go to the beach, if you're in a northern climate where there's snow and slush and stuff like that, dragging that in and out can take a toll on the interior. So initially, some of the very first things I'm doing are to protect the interior. So two things we'll talk about today. One are floor liners. So I've taken the factory floor mats out and I've got a set of floor liners and then some door sill entry guards. It's these guys here. Obviously you can get floor liners and door sill entry guards from Mopar. Those are not the ones that I decided to go with. Typically for floor liners, I really like WeatherTech, and I'll show you in the back. That's what I went with, the WeatherTech floor liner for the rear area of the back seat. But for the front, I decided to go with the Westin brand, and I'll show you. I don't know how well you can see from that position. Let's take a look. So these Westin floor liners come up over the door edge just a bit, whereas the WeatherTechs and the Mopars, they're just kind of a pan down in the floor. So these are pretty much just like the WeatherTechs in the sense that they're 3D laser molded to the floor pan, but they just have this extra piece that comes up over the door sill. And I felt like maybe that would be a nice addition. This is where you kind of drag your feet coming in and out. And then we'll supplement that with these door sill entry guards. Kind of put that into place. The Mopar ones, so these are from Rugged Ridge. In my opinion, the ones from Mopar look better. They really match the diamond pattern of the running boards and the bumpers a little better. These are kind of like a tire tread pattern, and I could do without it saying Rugged Ridge, but you know that's on there. But the difference being, the Mopar ones are just kind of like a circular piece here on the door edge. These actually have a vertical piece and come up over the lip. So it offers you a little bit more protection. And when you kind of use these two together, it really kind of makes a nice seamless transition coming in and out of the vehicle. So if you had muddy feet, or if you're getting in and out of the snow, there's less chance of stuff getting down under or just dinging up your door sills, because obviously these are just painted, and once it gets scratched up, it just looks that way forever. So anyway, this is pretty basic installation type stuff. I'll show you how these get installed. It's just the 3M adhesive. There is a left and a right. And you'll see at the front of these, there's kind of a molded raised spot. That goes over there's a bolt here in the kind of a body seam that's designed to cover that. And then it comes up over the edge. With these, let me see if I can. Hopefully the lighting's good enough. The way these work, they're held in place by these floor anchors, just like your factory floor mats. That's already in the carpet, and these just press in and they kind of clip them into place. These do not have the factory drains, so if you're the type of person that's going to have the top off and need to rinse out the interior or rainwater or something like that, then maybe the Mopar ones or one of the Mopar knockoff brands would do better for you. For me, I had no intention of having the top off and letting the interior get rained in, so I didn't need the floor pans. So you can also see the dead pedal that I added on the left, and you can see that the way that dead pedal mounts, it's kind of from the top and from the side, and it allows room for the floor liner to fit into place. So you can have both. You can have the dead pedal and the floor liners. The other thing about these floor liners, so they have, those are double-sided sticky. There's a Velcro piece that has sticky tape on it. So we'll pull that off, and then once we get these into place, because you see, if it just sits there, they kind of stick up. So this will help hold the floor liner down with Velcro. So that'll help, because I give these I guess an A minus with how well they're matched to the floor. There are some gaps, right? Well, once we stick these into place, I think it'll do pretty well. Okay, so we'll move along with the installation. This is pretty basic stuff, but I'll let you watch for a second while I get these installed. It's just a matter of getting them lined up properly and then peeling off the red cover on the 3M tape. Make sure you get these lined up exactly where you want them. I did the passenger side already, and somehow I started from the back, and as I got to the front, I realized it was shifted back just a bit, and because of that bolt head, this didn't sit properly, so I had to peel the whole thing off. Fortunately, I had just put it on, and it's kind of a pain, but you could pull it off if you need to, but obviously you would rather avoid that if possible. So trying to get things lined up beforehand, and just make sure when you stick it down that it's where you want it forever. So take a little bit of alcohol on a paper cloth and just wipe down the area. Make sure there's no residue from waxes or anything that might be oily or prevent a good seal, or from the 3M tape adhering properly. Just give this a good wipe down. I found it easiest to pull off this piece of tape first, get that placed, and then do the top lip afterwards. Don't pull the whole thing off yet. Get it lined up like you want it, and pull off just enough that it sticks out to the side. And then you can stick that back edge down and then peel it off from under. And before you get it completely off, there's another piece of tape that goes this way up here. It's in front of that bolt head, so go ahead and peel that off, and then you can place that piece of it. Give it some firm pressure. And then we're going to do the same thing with our floor liner. We've still got some alcohol here on the, try that off. And this is a little bit simpler. Just kind of know where you want to place this. There's just a bit of a ridge along here that kind of fits into the groove along here. So that's my goal when I place it, is to make sure that it kind of fits in there, and that will help hold it in place and keep some pressure on it for a few seconds. And so when you're done, it does still stick up just a little bit. I'll have to see once I've had these for a while, you know, Does my foot get caught on that? Is it constantly ripping it off? Or does the Velcro help hold it in place like I want? We'll just have to see if that's really an added benefit or not. These are a pretty flush fitment. You can see that there's not a lot of room for water or grit to get under there. So these cover a lot more area than the Mopar version. The Mopar ones look really good, but as far as being functional and actually preventing your door sills from getting scratched up, I don't know that they would really do much. I mean, they're more just purely an aesthetic thing, whereas these I feel like maybe will do something for me, you know, as you're dragging your feet in and out. All right, so we'll move on to the back. That's even simpler. The other thing I'll show you, and I don't know how well you can really see it in there, but the door edge entry guard, whatever you want to call it, does not interfere with the door seal that goes along the bottom of the door. So when this closes, you see that it's down below, so it shouldn't impact your door sills where you get a leak or something like that. So from that perspective, that's nice. Okay, and of course here are the WeatherTech rear floor liners. You can kind of see how they fit. Right, and even these aren't perfect fits around some of the edges, right? You can kind of see a little bit of a gap there. I was actually almost a little disappointed in how these fit, right? They kind of stick up a little bit in the back. But again, same general premise. You've got your factory floor anchors that hold them into place. And for their intended purpose, I think they'll work out pretty well. Of course, we do have a door entry guard to go for the rear doors as well. So same thing with these. Got the 2 strips of 3M tape. Same process again. We use a little bit of alcohol on a rag just to wipe it down and make sure there's nothing that would prevent the 3M tape from adhering properly. So as always, test fit it. Make sure you kind of understand where this should fit. Pretty obvious once you put it in place. So same thing, we'll start one end of the tape. There we go. Start just a little bit of it. Get it positioned like you want it. And then we'll do same thing for the top seal. Okay. So there's kind of a side shot. Reasonably flush. And it should cover enough area to protect the door seal as people get in and out of the back seat. I'll show you one other thing I added. If I can get some lighting here that doesn't cause too bad of a glare. If you see right there, the back door area where you get in and out was already scratched. And right, that's kind of in line with how people are getting in and out of the back seat. So if you have something in your back pocket or you're loading something, it could scratch that back area. So I don't know if you can see it. Get just enough there. I added some of the door edge, some of the clear 3M door edge guard tape kind of see where it ends right there. And you can get that stuff for $10 for a whole length of it. And you may find some other areas that are kind of high wear that are worth adding a little protection to. So on the topic of protecting the interior, one other product that I tried recently and I really liked was this. It's a interior surface protectant from Detailing Products. I got this from Auto Geek, where I get a lot of my interior cleaning stuff. So you're probably familiar with Armor All, that sort of thing for cleaning and protecting interior stuff. What I really liked about this is that it has a UV protectant in it as well. So I decided to use that on my dash and the trim and the door panels and some stuff like that. And I was really happy with it. It added like a deep richness to the black. I obviously have the black interior. So I wiped everything down, even the dash. So I have the leather interior package. So while I used a leather specific protectant on the leather seats and that sort of thing, the dash has some leather trimmings as well. I used this interior protectant on that. And then of course the plastic and all the panels, I wiped everything down, let it sit. And once had gotten through the entire vehicle, I came back with another clean microfiber towel and I just wiped it down. So any excess product that had not absorbed into the plastic trim or the vinyl or anything that may be faux leather, I wipe it down. So you don't have a greasy finish the way that sometimes Armor All can be. I've been really happy with that, and I like that it has a UV protectant because this will obviously sit in the sun. And hopefully I'm trying to prevent the dash from getting old and fading and cracking, that sort of thing, as the years go by, because I hope to have this vehicle for a long time. I bought it, so it's not a lease. It's mine for as long as I want to own it. So hopefully if you're in the market for something like that, give this a try. It's maybe like 10, 12 bucks, something like that. It really wasn't too much, and a little bit goes a long way, so I think you'll be happy with that. And I found the packaging. Hopefully you can see that. This is for the 3M door edge protection film. It comes in a length, 2 strips, and they're each like 36 inches long each. So if you wanted to do your door edges, you could do that, or other places where it could be high wear. So I hope that helps. Today's video wasn't overly technical, but it is my attempt at least to keep the interior looking as good as it can for as long as possible. And maybe you're in the same boat. So hopefully you found this content helpful. If you have recently bought a Wrangler JL or of course the Gladiator like I have, congratulations. So keep tuning in, hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you next time here on Scruff's Garage.